There are two breakfast recipes I alter between and eat every day. One of them is my homemade healthy granola. That is also vegan, by the way, for all you vegans out there. And I received this recipe from my girlfriend. And the first time I tried it, it was definitely 100 times better than any cereal from the store I was eating before. Besides the taste, this recipe does not include any white sugar and is therefore a healthier breakfast than most of the store-bought stuff. But beside the recipe that I like, I'll share with you a formula what makes up a good granola recipe so you can play around and make your own version. But first, you have to try my recipe, so let's make it.
Here are the ingredients for this recipe, and make sure you buy rolled oats, which is a base for any good granola recipe. Do not buy the broken up oats, it will taste like sawdust. You don't want that. Preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 360 degrees Fahrenheit on a hot air and broiler grill stand, this little icony. Make sure to weigh all your ingredients beforehand, this makes it much easier to put together. In a small bowl, put your 150 grams of dried raisins and add cold water to soak them a bit so they get nice and puffy. Then cut up 300 grams of cranberry nut mix into smaller chunks and set that aside. Weigh 50 grams of coconut flakes and set that aside as well. Make sure you crush them a bit. Cut up your 65 grams of dates and make sure that all your ingredients are nicely cut in bite size. In a large bowl, add 500 grams of your rolled oats. Then add 300 grams of the cut up cranberry nut mix and 125 grams of seed mix. In this granola, I've been using a variety of seed mix, such as pumpkin, sunflower, pine nuts, and some flax seeds. Sometimes I also add chia seeds, but I didn't have anything at the moment. Time to add the spices. A pinch of salt, add 3 tablespoons of cinnamon, and 3 tablespoons of mixed spiced cookie. Yeah, I've been looking around what this is in English, but here's an ingredient list I found that you can make it yourself. If you're fortunate enough to live in the Netherlands, it's called koek en speculaas, so I hope you can find it. Stir everything together and set aside. Then in a small pan, put 90 milliliters of coconut oil and 80 milliliters of maple syrup. Let it heat up and add 2 tablespoons of water. Pour this liquid over the dry ingredients and stir. The granola should get a nice and glossy texture. If it doesn't, you can make 1/3 more of the liquid and pour that in as well. Mix it well together and set aside. Get your baking sheet and lay some baking sheet paper on top of it. I use these silicone baking sheet mats and they're absolutely my favorite oven utensil. You can put them in the dishwasher when you're done and just use them over and over. I'll leave a link for them in the description below. Oh, and speaking of below, have you already laid that mouse over that subscribe button like you lay your baking sheet paper over your baking sheet? Spread the granola over 2 baking sheets and put it into the oven for 20 minutes, but set a timer for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, you want to stir the granola around and swap the 2 sheets, so the broiler can also give some love to the other one on top. After another 10 minutes, take them out and let them cool. Then drain your raisins and add them to the mixture, add your coconut flakes as well. We add these afterwards because otherwise they burn in the oven. And store them in an airtight container for up to a month. You can also freeze them in Ziploc bags to prolong their shelf life.
And if you want to try your own granola recipe and get creative, it is really easy. Just make sure that you add 6 part dry ingredients and 1 part wet. And the dry part needs to be at least 2.5 parts of rolled oats in my opinion, and then whatever nuts and dry fruit you add. Go wild, have fun. For the wet part, you can add any kind of oil to replace my coconut oil. Add honey instead of maple syrup or anything that will sweeten it a bit. And of course, if you found this video valuable, please leave a like and definitely subscribe for more upcoming videos. You can also just not wait and see any of my older videos right here. I would say enjoy. I'll wait here and eat my granola.
Oh.